After that night, Joy carried her mark in silence. She wore long sleeves, hiding it from the others. But the fire beneath her skin never cooled. It pulsed with a will of its own. Days turned into weeks, and strange things began to happen in Vix International School. The mirrors in the bathroom cracked for no reason. The school bell rang by itself. Every night at 3 a.m., someone or something knocked softly on the dormitory door, calling Joy's name. Joy, Joy. The voice was calm, low, and familiar, like Madame Fidelia, yet not quite human. The first time, Joy ignored it. The second time, she prayed. But on the third night, she stood up, trembling, and whispered, "Who's there?" The voice replied, "Your crown awaits." Then the lights went out. A dark mist seeped through the window. The room grew colder. The beds around her began to shake. Linda screamed, "It's here! The spirit is here!" Joy grabbed her Bible from under the pillow and began to pray, her voice breaking. "The Lord is my shepherd." But before she could finish, the serpent mark on her wrist glowed red. A force threw her backward against the wall. The air filled with whispering voices, chanting words that twisted her thoughts. "Feed the crown, join the chain. The chosen must reign." From the shadows, black shapes crawled across the floor, figures without faces, their bodies moving like smoke. Linda held onto Joy's arm, weeping. "It's the spirits of the past vessels. They've come for you." Joy screamed, "Leave me alone," and raised her marked hand. Suddenly, a flash of light erupted from her palm. The mark burned like molten fire. The shadows shrieked and drew back, hissing. The entire dormitory trembled, and the windows shattered with a loud bang. Then silence. When the mist cleared, the other girls lay unconscious, their faces pale. Only Joy and Linda remained awake. The mark on Joy's wrist now looked different. It had turned golden. "What happened?" Linda whispered. Joy looked at her glowing wrist, panting. "I think it's fighting back." "No," Linda said, her voice shaking. "It's not fighting back, it's awakening. The spirit isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to merge with you." Joy's eyes widened. "Merge?" "Yes, you are the vessel. It needs your soul to walk in flesh." The next morning, Madame Fidelia called for Joy in her office. The room smelled of roses and something darker, burnt incense. On her desk lay the golden crown, shining like the sun. "You've been seeing things, haven't you, Joy?" the principal said softly. "Dreams, voices, power you don't understand." Joy's lips trembled. "What do you want from me?" Fidelia smiled. "Nothing you weren't born for. Your mother was one of us long ago. She refused her calling. But blood never forgets." Joy gasped. "You're lying." "Am I?" Fidelia said, placing a hand over the crown. "The serpent chose your line generations ago. You can fight, but the throne is already yours." "My children, some battles are not between light and darkness, but between destiny and choice." That night, Joy wept silently. For now she knew the truth. The evil in Vix International School was not just around her. It was inside her blood. After Madame Fidelia's confession, Joy's world fell apart. She could not look at herself in the mirror without seeing the shadow of the serpent behind her eyes. The school that once felt like a dream now felt like a cage of spirits. But deep within her heart, a flame burned, the same flame that made her mother send her to school with faith instead of fear. That night, she decided, she would end it all. Linda tried to stop her. "You can't go near that crown, Joy. The spirit guards it. The moment you touch it, it will see your soul." Joy's eyes hardened. "Then it will see I'm not afraid." "Please," Linda begged. "Many have tried, none survived." "Then I'll be the first." The two girls waited until the clock struck midnight, the hour when the school slept, and the spirits roamed freely. They crept through the hallway, carrying a small lantern and a bowl of salt water, the only thing Linda said could repel the spirits temporarily. The chapel doors loomed before them, tall and carved with two snakes biting their tails. Joy whispered a short prayer and pushed them open. The air inside was heavy with incense. Candles burned though no one was there. On the altar, wrapped in silk, lay the golden crown glowing faintly, breathing almost like a living thing. Joy stepped forward slowly, her heart pounding. "Mother of Scales," a voice hissed softly, "why have you come?" Joy froze. The voice was Fidelia's. It came from everywhere at once. "I am not your mother," she said firmly. "I am Joy, daughter of light." The shadows around the chapel stirred. "Light burns only for a moment," the voice whispered, "but darkness is eternal." Joy ignored it. She reached for the crown, and the moment her fingers touched it, a burst of heat ran through her arm. The serpent mark on her wrist flared like fire, and the golden crown began to melt in her hands. A scream, deep, ancient, and furious, filled the entire chapel. The floor cracked, candles exploded, the stained glass windows shattered into dust. Linda fell to the ground, covering her ears. "Joy, it's breaking the seal." Held on tighter, shouting, "In the name of the living God, I break this covenant." The crown burst into flames, bright red, then blue, then pure white. From the fire rose the shadow of a woman, tall, regal, with eyes like burning coals and a serpent coiled around her shoulders. "You cannot destroy me, child," she said. "You carry my blood, you are me." "No," Joy cried, "I am not your vessel." The spirit laughed, her voice shaking the earth. "Then let the city witness your rebellion." Thunder cracked outside. In the distance, lightning flashed over Lagos skis. The ground beneath the school trembled like a living thing. Linda screamed, "Joy, throw it into the fire." Joy raised the burning crown high, her body trembling, every muscle screaming in pain. "If I must burn to end this," she said, "then so be it." Hurled the crown into the flames. A blast of light erupted, blinding them both. The spirit shrieked and dissolved into smoke, and for a moment everything was still. Then Joy collapsed, her wrist bleeding from the mark that had begun to fade. "My children, when fire meets darkness, both suffer." That night, the girls of Vix International School woke to see the old chapel in ruins. Madame Fidelia was nowhere to be found. Some said she vanished with the smoke. Others said she became the smoke itself. But Joy lay in the infirmary. Between life and death, her soul wandering between two worlds. The evil had been wounded, yes, but not destroyed. For in Lagos, where spirits and men share the same streets, nothing truly dies, it only waits. 3 days passed after the fire at the chapel. The whole of Vix International School was in confusion. Teachers whispered, parents called endlessly, and police officers roamed the compound, trying to explain what had happened. But the truth, my children, was not in their reports. The truth lay in the infirmary, on a small white bed where Joy slept, unmoving, her wrist still bearing the faint scar of the serpent's mark. Linda stayed by her side, day and night. "Joy, please wake up," she whispered, tears in her eyes. Doctor said she was alive, but trapped in something like a trance, her heartbeat steady, but her soul lost in a dream. On the third night, as rain poured over Lagos City, Linda heard Joy's voice for the first time. "Linda." Jumped up holding Joy's hand. "Joy, you're awake." Joy's eyes fluttered open, but they were not the same eyes. The whites had turned slightly golden, glowing faintly in the dark. "Joy, what happened to you?" Joy sat up slowly. "It's not over," she said in a voice that sounded older than her own. "The serpent lives, it only changed its home." Linda stepped back, frightened. "What do you mean?" Joy turned her wrist, showing the scar. It glowed faintly again. "It's inside me now." The wind outside howled violently. Lights flickered across the campus. "When I destroyed the crown," Joy said, "it tried to flee, but it couldn't escape the fire, so it came into me. It hides beneath my skin, waiting." Linda's lips trembled. "Then what are we going to do?" "Finish it," Joy said, standing. "Once and for all." That night, Joy left the infirmary and walked across the campus barefoot. The rain fell hard, drenching her white gown, but she didn't stop. Followed the pull in her blood until she reached the ruins of the old chapel. The ground was still black from the fire, and in the center lay a circle of ash. As she stepped closer, the ashes began to swirl, forming the shape of a snake once more. A low voice rose from the earth. "You cannot destroy what you are." "I am not you," Joy said firmly. The spirit's laughter echoed through the night. "You think light can survive in this city? Look around, child. Lagos belongs to me, to greed, to pride, to hunger for power. You are my daughter, the heir of the crown." "I am not your daughter," Joy said, her voice rising. Lightning split the sky. The spirit rose again, tall and terrible, wearing a crown of smoke. But this time, Joy did not run. Stretched out her hands, and the mark on her wrist burst into flame, white fire, brighter than lightning. "If you live in me," she shouted, "then you will burn with me." The spirit screamed as the fire surrounded them both. The earth shook, thunder roared, and for a moment, all of Lagos City felt the tremor. Linda, watching from a distance, fell to her knees as the ruins of the chapel exploded in light. When the smoke cleared, Joy was gone. Only her necklace, a small silver cross her mother had given her, lay among the ashes. "My children, some victories are not won by living, but by becoming the light that others follow." For even when Joy's body vanished, her spirit remained, whispering to every girl who entered that school thereafter. "Fear no darkness, the serpent falls to the flame." And from that day, the midnight bell never rang again. The new principal closed the chapel forever. But sometimes, when the night grows deep and the rain touches the old stones, one can still hear a faint voice, strong and calm, saying, "I am Joy, daughter of light." After that night, the school was closed for months. The government called it an electrical accident. But the students who had been there, the girls who saw the fire dance like spirits, they knew better. They whispered about Joy, the brave one, the girl who fought darkness with faith and courage. They said that when you walk the corridors at midnight, you could hear a faint hymn, Joy's voice, singing softly, keeping the evil away. Linda never forgot her. Grew up, left the city, and became a teacher. But she never spoke of that night, not until years later, when one of her students began having the same dreams, dreams of a serpent wearing a crown. Then Linda knew, darkness never dies, it only changes form. So she told them Joy's story, not as fear but as faith. "My children," she said to them, "evil hides in many places, not just in forests or old shrines, but in bright schools, behind smiling faces, in the hearts of those who crave power more than peace." The girls listened, wide-eyed. "But never forget," Linda continued, "that even the smallest light, the courage to say no, the strength to pray when others laugh, the faith to stand when everyone runs, that light burns brighter than any darkness." Lagos grew busier as years passed. The city forgot the scandal, and Vix International reopened under a new name. But sometimes, strange things happened. A snake slithering out of a dry wall, a bell ringing though no rope was pulled. And the night watchmen swore they saw a girl walking near the old chapel ruins, her gown white, her eyes gentle, her face glowing faintly in the dark. When they called out, she would smile and whisper, "Study well, my child, live right, do not chase power that destroys your soul." My children, I tell you this story because Lagos is full of Vix schools. Not all have gates and uniforms, some are places of business, some are churches, some are our hearts. The serpent of greed and pride hides in all of them, waiting for one to bow. But remember, if Joy, a simple girl from nowhere, could stand against ancient evil, then so can you. Evil thrives where silence grows. Light wins where courage rises. And sometimes, those who are taken by fire are not lost. They become the flame that guides others home. So when the rain falls over Lagos at midnight, and thunder rolls over the lagoon, and you hear a faint whisper saying, "Fear no darkness," know that Joy still walks among us. The girl who became light. The spirit who guards the city from within its own shadow. Moral of the story. True education is not just about learning books. It is learning the difference between power and wisdom. The one who seeks power will fall to the serpent.